Hello and welcome to another episode of Uncorked, the Welsh Wine Podcast. I'm Jamie.
I'm Sara.
And I'm Angela.
Well, we've just done Welsh Wine Week.
Yeah. Oh, it's been so much fun.
It's been great, isn't it? I had no idea what to expect, but yeah, it was class.
Yeah, I'm in the same camp as you. I didn't know what to expect. I was thinking, okay, we've been talking about all these vineyards and we know there's some great people out there, but seeing them all together, seeing that big
actually
room.
Meeting the makers behind the wine is really cool.
Yeah.
So it was a Monday, wasn't it? And we actually got to do our first trade tasting together. Mm-hmm. How do we feel about that?
Well, Monday wine tasting is a new one for me.
Well, I mean, for me, it's quite normal because it's a classic thing in the trade because we don't tend to work on a Monday.
Sure.
So we put trade tastings on a Monday or maybe a Tuesday.
I think the ones I've been to with you before, which weren't for Welsh wine, they were just general trade.
Well, yeah, I like to have a partner, don't I? And I'm like, this is Angela. She works for me.
And I'm just standing there looking gormless, which, to be fair, I am very good at. Just it's like, oh, so who are you with? And I'm like, I'm with her,
she
asking me questions as though I'm in the business, and I'm just standing there with like my little handwritten name tag that says, "My name is Angela." Standing there looking like
you're like an
assistance
person,
kind of, but like you know, in the Muppets, there's Beaker. That's basically me.
I love Beaker.
No, you always do really well, but I'm
Canadian.
I thought we did really well. I thought we were all very professional. Mm-hmm. How did you guys feel about spitting? Because that's not something that I mean...
Was I supposed to spit?
Were you not spitting the entire time?
No.
It's never really been my forte, but...
No, but I felt great at the end.
I learned the hard way at some of these trade tastings you've taken me to before that, like... Even when you do use the spittoon, I can't bring myself to say, even when you do spit, because I just...
Spittoon. When you use the spittoon.
When I use the spittoon, I just have the sense of humor of a 14-year-old boy, so I need to rein it in. Even when you do use a spittoon, you still absorb a fair bit of alcohol through like the soft tissue in your mouth.
Yeah,
and
sure.
Because I think the first trade tasting I went to with you warned, it's like, we're not going to have anything properly to drink. We'll go around, we'll make a note of the ones we want to go back and try. For real. But don't, I'm like, oh no. All right, I'll take your word for it, but I don't see what the big deal is. But then there's like 170 wines. Yeah. And you're taking a little sip and like half an hour in, it's like, oh, I'm feeling this, but I haven't actually consumed any of it.
Yeah,
amazing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And there were at least 8 vineyards. I can't remember how many vineyards there were now in the Welsh trade show. But it was just, I mean, what was your favourite part?
I think my favorite part was actually putting a face to a name for a lot of these vineyards. Like I've met some of them before. So I've met like Lucy from the Dell. But it was just really nice to actually meet the people who are behind these wines, because we've talked about some of them and drank a fair few more. But just being able to see and meet the people behind it, and it just brings it to life a little bit more.
Yeah, it does. It does. I mean, and that's one of the things we wanted to do with this podcast, wasn't it? Was to bring to life the people behind the bottles. So
well done, yeah.
I just keep saying that. It's such a great term.
It's a bit of a catchphrase now. We should get it embroidered on a pillow or get some T-shirts printed. The people behind the bottle.
Yeah.
What people? What bottle? Buy the T-shirt.
No, I enjoyed it very much, and I mean, apart from tasting the wine, I agree. It was good to meet some of those really interesting people, actually, with great backstories. So more to come on that, really.
Yeah, absolutely.
One of the things we were going to talk about today was one of the more common grapes in Wales is Solaris, and you'll see bottles all over the place if they stock Welsh wine. Solaris is a really common one. So tell us about Solaris, Sara.
So Solaris is the 4th most widely planted grape variety in Wales. It's a really hardy grape. I like saying that. It makes it like...
Hardy.
Yeah, hardy. It's like it's Welsh. It does well on Welsh soil, you know?
Struggling away through the rain.
You see this grape wearing wellies and flannel and
little duffel coat.
It's just out there and like not shivering in the rain, just out there like... Just like a sturdy mountain grape.
Just doing it. Yeah.
So Solaris is hardy.
So Solaris is hardy. And I don't want to go into too much detail because, spoiler alert, the next episode is going to be specifically about the grapes that we are growing in Wales and some more detail about that. But it is more resistant to frost and fungal diseases than most. So it does really well in a wet climate like Wales, because we are here. I'm going to say it. No, I'm not going to say it.
Say it. Go on.
You looked at me and I was like...
You got to say it.
I don't know what you're going to say, so yeah.
It does well in a moist climate.
It's perfectly fine.
We can... Anyway, so because Solaris is such a hardy grape, like we've just mentioned, it does grow all around Wales. What's really interesting about a lot of the vineyards is, one vineyard might grow a certain grape and then the neighbouring vineyard might not be able to grow it as well as the other, just because of, various reasons. But Solaris does thrive in most areas, and so it is planted all over. So it's a really good one to kind of get to know. It produces wines with kind of medium to high acidity. It's crisp, it's aromatic. It's really interesting. You can get citrus fruits, tropical fruits, like elderflower, like grassiness, like this, all of these things. It's just, do you know what? It's just bloody delicious.
Well, luckily, we have one to try.
I'm just going to say, so Solaris is not a variety that I had heard of before doing this podcast. I'm sure there are other people out there as well who haven't heard about it. Like if you were to say Solaris to me, I would think something to do with like the sky or the solar system or something like that. It doesn't scream grape to me. So it's interesting that it's the fourth most common variety grown in Wales, but it's not, it's not up there with like Chardonnay or Sauvignon or something like that.
Well, Chardonnay is the third most widely planted grape variety.
Wow.
Well, there we are.
There we are, Angela. You were owned there.
Sorry. No, I wanted to be factual there, but
no, it's not owned. But most people have heard of Chardonnay. I don't think most people have heard of Solaris. So that's quite interesting. I was going to ask, do you know, is Solaris something that they grow in England as much? Any idea? Like, because it's just. Not that I come across many English wines, to be fair, but I've just not heard of it before.
It's not. Do you know what? Solaris is more widely planted in Wales than in England, which is why I thought it'd be a fun one to focus on for just this second episode, because we are trying to focus more on Wales than anything else. And so it's kind of been described in the past as Wales' Sauvignon Blanc.
I can totally see that. Absolutely. I like that.
So we've got one to try.
Absolutely.
So we've got I can't say it that easily. I'm all right with my Welsh pronunciation, but
don't try and put that in the middle of the word. It's Llaethlu.
Oh, it's a mutation.
Yeah,
is it?
yeah.
Oh,
no. It's just
Llaethlu.
Yeah,
Llaethlu.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like trying to say like Pwllheli.
Yeah, I was going
getting
for
the
Llaethlu, which is
you just have to like
Llaethlu. Llaethlu.
There you go.
Well done. Yeah, you got it.
Diane.
Excellent. Woohoo!
Right, so we've got Llaethlu. Vintage 2022, and this is a Solaris.
Yeah,
and Llaethlu literally translates into the colour of milk.
Colour of milk.
The wine is not the colour of milk, though. The wine is the colour of wine.
Yeah, the wine is the colour of wine. It's called the colour. Llaethlu, colour of milk. There are a couple of different stories, I guess. One is there's a creek that kind of goes near the vineyard, and the way that it frothes and bubbles, it looks a little bit like the colour of milk. But I would argue that it's probably more to do with the fact that the estates around that area were traditionally dairy farms.
Kind of like Nantucket House in Carmarthenshire.
Well, yeah, exactly.
It literally means cheese creek.
Yeah. You make the cheese, falls into the creek, now it's Cheese Creek. And it could have literally been that as well. Like if you've got all these dairy farms and, I don't know. Anyway, this is just me speculating. But this is the...
Let's give it a go, shall we?
Yeah, absolutely.
That is nice. Sauvignon Blanc, yes, I get that.
The fact that you say that it's like a Sauvignon Blanc is... I know I said it earlier, but... it is like a cooler climate Sauvignon. So think Loire Valley. So you do get more of the like greener notes, more of the like gooseberry, slightly higher acidity.
Okay, so Llaethlu is near Aberaeron, is it?
Yeah, it's in Aberaeron. Neuaddlewy is the locality, but Aberaeron, the region.
Right. So, Angela, have you got a fun fact about Aberaeron? I'm sure you've got one up your sleeve.
I absolutely do. Nothing to do with wine, but... have either of you been to Aberaeron?
Yeah, I love it.
It's got a fairly distinctive vibe to it that's a little bit different to other towns and villages in that part of the world. It has really lovely Regency buildings, so they're really colourful, but it stands out a bit just because the buildings have a particular look to them that not everyone does, and it's quite like a consistent town that way. It was one of Wales' first planned towns.
No way!
Both the town and the harbour were planned and built in the Regency period, hence why the buildings are all Regency. So we're talking like early 19th century, so around 1800. So this is sort of like Jane Austen era, and that's when the town was built. So that's why it has that particular vibe to it.
When you think of Aberystwyth, when you think of those colourful houses, don't you, and that lovely square, and they're all just perfectly kept, and there's lovely gardens in the middle.
It's got this lovely, like, refined vibe to it that other older towns have sort of this lovely, like, higgledy-piggledy houses or and buildings are from different periods, and it's just all sort of grown up at different times, whereas Aberystwyth, because it was planned, it has this sort of polished refinement to it, but it's also this lovely tiny little seaside town. So that's why it's got that vibe to it.
Oh, that's so cool. I didn't know that.
Also, honey. They have very good honey there. That's why you can get really nice like honeycomb ice cream in Aberystwyth.
There's loads of ice cream shops, actually.
Yeah, and like
2 or 3 good ones.
Honey and honeycomb are things that are associated with Aberystwyth as well.
I feel really bad because I've been working with Llaethlu now for more than 5 years, from back when I spammed the entire Welsh Vineyard Association saying I really want to work with you guys, and I want to sell Welsh wines, and I want to I want to shout about it. Yeah, please be my friend. And I think like 2 people got back to me, but Sue and Richard from Llaethlu were one of the vineyards that did, and they've been really good to me, and we've got a really good relationship. And I've still not had a chance to go and visit. It's just been, between pandemic and having a baby and all of that.
We'll go.
I'd love to go. I've driven through there, but I've never actually spent much time in Aberystwyth. So yeah, we should do a road trip.
Well, they've got a rental cottage or apartment of some kind, so we could definitely stay on their vineyard.
Nice.
And of course, they always need a helping hand during harvest time, so that's something we could definitely do. Can I be completely honest with you guys? Speaking of Aberystwyth.
Yes. What did you do in Aberystwyth?
What happens in Aberystwyth stays in Aberystwyth.
Well, considering I haven't been, in the last episode, I was talking about White Castle, our friends at White Castle, and I said that they were in Aberystwyth because I don't know, a slip of the tongue. They're in Abergavenny.
Yeah, they're quite different.
Completely different. It's just an aber. So I'm really sorry, White Castle. We know you're in Abergavenny.
Well, can I be completely honest?
Oh, you've been a mistake.
Oh no, what have you done?
No. Yeah, I was listening back, and I do this thing, and like, it's really, this is why when I lecture, I follow a script, partly so I can stay on topic, but I do this thing sometimes where I open my mouth and the wrong thing comes out. I'm thinking the right thing, so I'll say Tuesday when I mean Saturday.
Right.
And it can be quite confusing for anyone who has to deal with me, so apologies.
Sure.
But
what did you say?
I said Wars of the Roses instead of 100 Years' War, when I was talking about how...
I didn't even notice that.
I guarantee you there's somebody who's listened who's like either had that sort of aha gotcha moment where it's like, oh, she said something wrong, or they're like, oh, I know something she doesn't know, or something like that. But the Wars of the Maybe it's just because I was driving back from Leicester listening to it. I'm like, oh no, that's the wrong thing, because the Wars of the Roses were the wars that resulted in the Tudors being on the throne. So that was local to Britain, or to England mainly. Whereas the 100 Years' War was continental, and that's when those ended. That was the point at which England no longer had Aquitaine.
Right.
And we were talking about Aquitaine because England had it, and that made it really easy for them to get Bordeaux wines here. So in that context, I just opened my mouth, and instead of saying 100 Years' War, Wars of the Roses come out. We've all been there, right?
Well, however, speaking of the first episode, I'm really grateful to everyone that's listened. It's been a great response.
Yeah.
And nobody's called us out on our mistakes.
And
so
nobody's done
thank you for that.
Yet. But given it was our first episode, we were all a bit apprehensive. What do people think? Are they going to enjoy it? And it's been a really nice response. So
Jamie's mum and dad loved it.
My mum and dad love it, yeah.
That's what matters.
Right, what do you think about the wine?
I really like it. Just like the first... What do you call the first smell of a wine? Is it a whiff?
The bouquet. You could say bouquet.
Bouquet.
Yeah.
It's got a limey bouquet.
It's a bit of a fancy,
Mrs. Bouquet.
Mrs. Bouquet.
Miss Bouquet. Phoebe Bouquet.
I really don't like the term the bouquet of a wine. I'm not going to lie, just because I just think it's a bit pretentious.
It's a bit wanky.
I'm like, yeah, exactly. I'm like, oh, the first sniff I get under my nose, like.
How about this? It's giving lime.
It's giving lime.
It's giving lime.
Limey, like elderflowery, a little bit of gooseberry. It's quite green. I think green is
minty.
Yeah, is a way that you can describe it, which is classic of Solaris and, you know, the cool climate. I've had a Solaris from Llaethlw from really warm vintages, and so like a warm vintage would just mean they had a lot of sun in the summertime as opposed to the springtime and then loads of rain and cold in August, which, you know, can sometimes happen. And it is really peachy. So you get more of the ripe stone fruit. So it's a little different.
That also sounds delicious.
Yeah. But this is great. And so Solaris in general goes really well with goat's cheese. Soft, fresh cheeses in general. Shellfish, seafood, like mussels, lobster. Lobster. When you just, when do you have a lobster?
Wednesday night, actually.
Oh, Wednesday night.
I'm more of a
Wednesday.
Thursday girl
Tuesday,
for lobster.
Thursday, yeah.
Midweek, What do you have your lobster with? Chips.
Butter, yeah.
You like a lobster though, Ange,
I love a lobster. I love a lobster with butter, but I also love a lobster with hollandaise.
See, this would go really well with it.
Yeah, I was thinking that because it's got that nice. It's a nice white wine, so it would go well with seafood. But it's got that nice, like, crisp, acidic tartness. But it's not too acidic. This doesn't taste like you need like Rennie's or something afterwards. So it's got a nice acidity, but it feels like it would cut nicely through. Like butter or hollandaise or something creamy, so like creamy seafood or really rich seafood. This would take the edge off of it, so you can eat even more.
So
Absolutely.
Here's us making wine accessible, talking about our weekly lobster.
Sure.
Wait, I have bought 2 lobster tails for £10 in Iceland, so lobster is relatively accessible.
Do you want to say it or shall I? Iceland, do you want to sponsor the podcast?
Iceland, do you want to sponsor the podcast? Just thought we'd do it in a male and female voice in case it made a difference.
Sure. Okay, so we all pretty much like this one then.
Yeah, I think
fan.
This is great.
Big fan.
Yeah.
Obviously, you've mentioned Richard and Sue that have the vineyard. We're going to come back to them in a future episode probably because they've got a great story here.
Yeah, I think every vineyard deserves a proper shining light. So we'll have a chat with them. Hopefully, go to the vineyard and see what they've got to offer and spend more time than just 30 seconds giving a little bit of backstory.
So this is a phenomenal Solaris from Llaethlw. Where else can we get one? So presumably, since it's the 4th most popular grape variety in Wales, there's going to be a load of other vineyards that are growing Solaris. So where else can we get this?
Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, we've got the Llaethlw, Gwynllan y Dyffryn, the Vale in Denbigh. Felfrey have got an absolutely outstanding one as well in Pembrokeshire. We've got Conwy, Montgomery. We've got Spring Hollow in Carmarthenshire and Llanerch. Honestly, the amount of if you want a Solaris, you've got your pick.
Yeah. Is it blended with other grapes sometimes too, or do you tend to just get like a Solaris as a Solaris?
More often than not, if it's a Solaris, it is 100%. You may have a little bit of something else in there, but it's usually disclosed on the label or kind of in the technical sheet. But Solaris is, it's so great, you don't need to blend it with anything.
Fair. I take that.
I genuinely think so many people are going to like that, actually. You're right in what you said about Sauvignon Blanc. I know so many people drink that. I think this is a winner.
It's really accessible.
The Sauvignon Blanc of Wales.
Because some wines, I'm more of a red drinker, so I'm quite fussy with my whites, and I like a white that is nice. I like a white that's easy to drink. That probably sounds a bit stupid, but some whites I find are hard work. They take a little bit, sometimes you're at a party and you're like, oh, I'm sat beside this person. They're difficult. I'll have a good time at the party, but I have to have a conversation with this person first before I get a bit tipsy and then talk to other people.
So this is not that wine. A nice person to sit next to at a party.
The person who's easy to talk to and you can just vibe with and have a great time is a person who just instantly starts talking about their dead pets or something like that.
I'm into it. If I'm honest.
I'm into it. Yeah.
All right, great. We're going to let you know ahead of the next episode which wine we'll be drinking.
Keep an eye on our socials because we will announce it there. So on Instagram, it's Uncorked Welsh Wine. and look out for the next wine.
Iechyd da.
Iechyd da.